We have already discussed some basic principles in electrical science, that is Ohm's law and resistivity. Now applying those principles, we will try to solve some circuits. Unless you solve some problems, you cannot clear your fundamentals. Sometimes students think that they know the concept very well, but while solving the problem, they cannot solve it. Unless you solve it, your fundamental will not be clear. Let us consider this circuit. Here we have to find the current that flows in this circuit. Here the voltage V is given and resistance R is 6 kilo ohm. From the Ohm's law, we know that I is equal to V by R. From this Ohm's law triangle, you can also recall it. I is equal to V by R. Now V is equal to 12 volts, and resistance R is equal to 6 kilo ohm. 6 kilo ohms, that means 6 into 10 to the power 3 ohm. So I will be equal to V by R. Now this voltage, this V is the voltage across the resistance. This voltage V is the same as this supplied voltage. So I is equal to V, that is 12 divided by R. R is 6, 12 volts divided by 6 ohms. That is equal to 6 kilo ohms. That is equal to, you can again write it, 6 into kilo ohm should be written in ohm, 12 volts divided by 6 kilo ohm. That is equal to 12 by 6 is equal to 2, and 10 to the power 3 will go to the numerator. It will become 10 to the minus 3 volts by ohm. That is equal to 2 into 10 to the power minus 3 amperes. So I is equal to 2. This is 2 into 10 to the minus 3. That means 2 divided by 1000. So it will be 2 milliampere. So the current that will flow through this circuit is 2 milliampere. That is 2 milliampere. Now let us consider this problem. Here it is given that when 12 volts is applied across the resistance R, then 2 ampere flows in the circuit. What should be the value of voltage so as to increase the current to 3 ampere? Here 12 volt is connected across the resistance and the current that flows is 2 ampere. What should be the value of this voltage so as to increase the current to 3 ampere? Now what is given here? In the initial case, it is given that it is 12 volt and the current is 2 ampere. We have to find the resistance R. Then from the Ohm's law, we can say that R is equal to V by I. That you can, if you do not remember, you can recall from this Ohm's law triangle. R is equal to V by I. This V is applied across the resistance. So here V is given as V is equal to 12 volt and I is equal to 2 ampere. So R, we can find R is equal to 12 by 2, that is equal to 6 ohm. This is 6 ohm. You can write it here. This 6 ohm. In the second case, what should be the voltage so that the current will be increased to 3 ampere? The voltage will increase so that the current will increase. So the voltage will be more. And we have to calculate the voltage, that here we have to connect another battery so that this voltage will increase and the current will be 3 ampere. Now we have the resistance that we have calculated, that is 6 ohm. So from the Ohm's law, we can again say that the voltage V is equal to IR. Now V is equal to IR, that is equal to I will be 3 ampere. Now we have said that the current will increase to 3 ampere. So I is equal to 3 ampere into resistance is 6 ohm, that will be 18 volt. So the voltage should be increased to 18 volt by connecting another battery in series, so that this voltage will be increased to 18 volt and the current will be 3 ampere. This is the answer. This problem can be solved by another way. We know that V by I, that is V by I, that is equal to R. So if voltage is V1, then the current is I1. So V1 by I1, that is equal to R, that is same as V2 by I2. So in the initial case, V1 is how much? V1 is equal to 12 volt and I1 is 2 ampere. And in the second case, V2, that we have to calculate, but I2 is equal to 3 ampere. So putting in this formula, V1 by I1 is equal to V2 by I2. That means V2 is equal to V1 into I2 divided by I1, that is equal to V1 is 12 into I2. I2 is 3 and I1 is 2. So we will get how much? That is 18 volts. In this case, you are not required to find the value of R. You can directly calculate this. This is because the voltage varies directly as the current. That means current and voltage are proportional, which is the Ohm's law. Thank you.